Hello, faithful, and welcome to a new video here on Heaven's Metal Streaming Radio. I am your host, Keven Crothers, station manager for Heaven's Metal Streaming Radio and staff writer for Heaven's Metal Magazine. Today, we want to talk about honorable mentions and favorite reissues of 2022. Several honorable mentions. I did the prior video on my top 15 albums of 2022, and that got to be a little long and a little wordy, and I was like, there's no room for any kind of honorable mentions or reissues. And of course, in the music marketplace these days, what would any kind of countdown be without some reissues? Of course. So first, though, honorable mentions. So if reissues aren't your thing and you just want to know, hey, what other albums that I liked? And in this case, there are EPs, because in my opinion, as far as top 15 albums, I want a full-length album. An EP does not fall into that category. And I'm going to put something on here that I just got because it's an honorable mention. And I'll probably try to do a little audio video thing up here, so maybe it'll cover my hand. We'll see. And that is Jimmy Brown's Novella 1. This is a 5-song EP that literally, as of this recording, I think it came out 2 weeks ago. I heard about it. I'm not a patron, shame on me, of Jimmy Brown, which I should be, and so should you, because Jimmy... If all you think of Jimmy Brown is Deliverance, you are missing the boat. If all you're thinking is he is just putting out heavy metal, whatever, you're missing the boat. Novella 1 is a 5-song EP. These things are going to be quick. This is very 70s inspired hard rock. You could say metal. Larry Farkas does play guitar on this as well. There's also a cover of a David Bowie song called Warzawa. There's supposed to be, I believe, 2 more of these novella releases coming from Jimmy in the very close future. Another EP that came out this year is White Cross. This is their 3-song EP released at the Immortal Fest. Quite good. Different vocals. No Scott Wenzel, different vocalists. But if you like White Cross, you're going to like that EP. Here also, this is an honorable mention because it's still taking me some time to kind of dig in and really get a hold of this. And that's King Zex's latest album, 3 Sides of One. This is not Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. This is not Out of the Silent Planet or Dogman. So just, those records are 20, 30 years old. So, there are some very good songs on here. A really nice package as well. Always look forward to new King Zex. 3 Sides of One, another honorable mention for 2022. Also, progressive rock, Time Horizon. Now, they are a progressive rock band. There are some shades of hard rock on here. A couple of those tracks I throw onto the Heaven's Metal Streaming Radio because I play everything from rock, prog rock, progressive metal, heavy metal, from a couple of different extremes. But this is really, really good. And Michael Sadler, the vocalist for Saga, I believe it is, actually does guest vocals on the opening track, Living for a Better Day. Time Horizon, Power of 3. You can grab this from the band directly. You can check it out through their Facebook page. And one more honorable mention. One of the last records I reviewed in 2022 is Testimony of Apocalypse, None Escape the Judgment. High-quality thrash metal from former members of Sacrament. They went in as a 3-piece. Quite good. You could read my review at heavensmetalmagazine.com or Heavens Metal Magazine. I'll try to. It's good stuff all the way around. So those were some honorable mentions that I had. Reissues, of course, in the music marketplace, there's a ton of reissues, and this one I know when it came out, I was like, okay. And then once I got it, I was like, why did I just poo-poo it? Because that seems crazy. Why? Is it because they sing in Swedish? I don't know. Because I love Leviticus. And this 4-song EP that they originally released, I'm not going to try to pronounce the Swedish. I'll butcher it. This sounds really, really good. Rawer, in my opinion, not as polished as any of their records, but the songs are all quite good, and none of these songs appear on any of their studio albums. So, Staak Tita Pa, Leviticus. This was reissued through Rocks. You can grab that. I'd like to. This one came out earlier this year. There was a lot of live releases, doubled up. DeGarmo and Key, straight, No Turning Back live. If you love or really enjoy 70s classic rock with a great southern bluesy edge, this is great stuff. Forget all that poppy stuff that DeGarmo and Key ended up doing later on. It is, the proverbial double disc. It is the whole out release here. It sounds fantastic. Girder Records put this out. For a long time, I wanted to hear it. I had heard bits and pieces of it. I used to have the vinyl, and then I don't have a record player anymore. So I got this. I played this one a lot this year. A great reissue, along with a couple of albums that, frankly, I never bought because I thought Frontline back in the day, what a ripoff. Why not just make this a double album? And Frontline, of course, didn't do that. So they released, Alive in America and Shaking the World, Blood Good Live. And these sound great. They look great. I finally have them in my collection. Yes, they are the proverbial gold disc. If you've never experienced disc rot with a CD, you've been very lucky. I've had many of these. My Christian albums have, inferior production as far as the actual manufacturing. So good stuff. Rocks always puts together a great package. It's got the little sticker thing, and of course we get all the lyrics. Great photos in there. Scott Waters always does a fantastic layout. The Blood Good live releases, excellent reissues. Thank you, Rocks Records, for the time to put that stuff out. Here was one that I remember back in the day when I heard the first demo, I was like, yawn. And now I bought this reissue, and I've listened to all of it. I went, wow, how did I miss the boat on these guys? Yes, I'm serious. I made a mistake. It happens. I'm talking about Night Riot. Beware the Night. This was a Greek reissue with full cooperation from the band. They pressed, 1,500 CDs. This is number 154 of 500. They were from Arizona, moved to moved to LA. We think of that they would be some kind of quote unquote poppy hair metal band. No, they're straightforward heavy metal like Armored Saint, Omen, Lizzie Borden. Just take away all of the theatrics. Great heavy metal. It is 15 songs. Compiles all 3 of their demos. It sounds really, really good. A very nice package on the inside. I'm not going to pull that all out. But Night Riot, Beware the Night, a really good one there. Here was one that I missed. The pre-order that started in 2020, I guess. And I remember at the time going, okay, whatever. Because I love this band. I really do love this band. And sometimes I don't feel like I have to have everything. And then once I started seeing, these were coming in, and I hadn't heard this album. And then once I started to hear about it, I finally got a copy of this about a month ago. And it's the 77's 88. This is a double live album with a bonus DVD. a fantastic package. This was pressed on vinyl as well. I'm not a big vinyl guy at all, and that's just because I don't have, again, I don't have a record player, and I don't have space. I got barely enough space for what I have. Little booklet on the inside. Mike Rowe talks all about how they put this together. It's fantastic stuff. The 77's 88. It's not heavy metal at all. It's not even hard rock. It's brilliant rock and roll with kind of a new, I'll say a slight new wave edge, very slight, a little more alternative, but world class stuff. Also, this year, and I'm only showing one of these, and we're getting down to the end here. Rick Kua. There were 4 Rick Kua discs. I got all 4. This is his debut, Kua, and this is excellent driving rock and roll. Kind of got that southern vibe to it, and it's really, really solid. All 4 of the albums, they sound remastered. As a matter of fact, all this stuff is remastered. It all sounds fantastic. Great stuff all the way around. Again, that's a Girder Records release, along with one of this one is very personal to me because this was on the second tour I ever saw. Res Live Bootleg. This was the second rock concert I'd ever been to in my life. They played about 3 or 4 weeks, something like that, following Petra in San Jose at the San Jose Civic Auditorium at the time. Another Girder release, remastered. There are parts on here where I think whatever the original source material that Capitol sent or had was not the greatest. There are some parts where I kept thinking that the high end should sound a little cleaner, but you can only use the material that the label sends you. Great graphics here. Again, layout and design by Scott Waters. Got like a little embossing. It's a great album, and it's very, very personal to me because of its 1984. February 84 is when I saw Res. I had just seen Petra the month before, and it just Girder knocked it out. They did 3 of these, live bootleg, Between Heaven and Hell, and Hostage. All 3, all with bootleg, all remastered, new packaging, all that great stuff. Great stuff. I'm down to my last 2 reissues, and these 2 reissues are very special to me because I was involved in one of them, but I was involved a bit with the other band. As far as I would go, I'd watch them practice. I would hang out with some of these guys. And the first one here, this is Retroactive Records. I'm talking about Valor, Masquerade. This is a great little package. This is their the demo tape for Masquerade. And I remember going to the release show at the Omni, and it was like, come to the show, we'll give you a free tape. That's what they did. And just, fantastic thrash metal, kind of speed metal, thrash metal, clean vocals, and here you go, right there. That is California Believer. And I wish I still had all my Believer stuff. I really, really do, guys, and I don't. So, Valor at the Omni, at the other place, they were originally a 5-piece, then down to a 4-piece. They released that album in 1989, which was also remastered and reissued. There's so much in here. This layout is fantastic. The flyers, the pictures, all that stuff. Adam Alvarez, if you're watching, love you, brother. Haven't seen you in 10 years since the Gypsy Flight gig. Or was it we ran into each other at the Armored Saint show? That was it. So anyway, great stuff here. And to take one more step before Valor, and that is Golgotha, the Prisoner EP, 4 songs, with, again, absolutely killer layout of material on the inside. Got all kinds of lyrics. Just great stuff. Before Crossforce, before Soldier, before Believer here in the San Francisco Bay Area, there was Golgotha. And these guys played places that, you know, they were not playing for the church. And the Daily Review newspaper story that I read and heard about their performance at the March of Dimes Walkathon, which is when I went, and this particular photo right here, if you can see that as I bump all the mic, that's from the March of Dimes Walkathon. They played Ruthie's Inn. They played The Other Place. They played a lot of just, you know, that's when they were a 5-piece with Ken Cardwell, Tony Kreider, Adam Alvarez, Gary Gladson. You can't see him, but Al Whalen back there on the drums. And Tony and Al have gone on to be with the Lord. And there are 2 live tracks on here, The Mark and Day of the Lord. And from my recording on a boombox, which sounds like it's going to sound incredibly cheesy, but it doesn't. Great stuff. A great year for reissues. Another Rocks Records reissue, Retroactive Records reissue, and of course, Girder. And then, of course, you know, the Low Fidelity, you know, with the 77s, they did some great stuff with Undercover as well. And a lot of the other artists and labels. There you have it. These are some of my favorite reissues of this year. Maybe you heard about some bands that you were like, oh, I haven't heard them in 35 years. Well, there you go. Please like the channel and subscribe. If you had your top favorite reissues of this year, put them in the comments below. You know, if you go watch that top 15 of 2022, give me your top 10 or top 15 albums of 2022 in the comments below there. So again, subscribe to the channel and share. Coming in, you know, January's coming. Heaven's Metal Streaming Radio, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available in Canada, the USA, and England. I apologize to you, those of you south America, and in Mexico, and in Australia, in Japan, as well as the rest of Europe, and Africa. I've gotten people like, I can't get it. So Live 365, you can try Live 365 through Get Me Radio. Maybe you can reach it that way. They do have a downloadable app if you use Roku. Stream it through your house stereo audio system. You know, do what you can. Anyway, until the next video, don't forget to say your prayers. And until next time, God bless.